everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am sorry I haven't been on as much as I'd like to be. I've just been so busy with editing assignments, and I'm going to start some volunteering soon. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Plus, I'm also trying to put together my Christian YouTube channel, so I've just been busy all over the place. So sorry if I keep doing this. I have a bit of a canker sore on my lip. It's not great. It's painful. But anyways, today we're reacting to a new job for Murdock. So I'm excited, and from my YouTube channel and my family, we want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. And please keep my dad in your prayers. He has a migraine this morning, and I'm just trying to help him in any way I can.
Take the dogs out.
Oh, sorry. So without further ado, let's get started.
Usually on his travels to the mainland, he would run over some check rails.
Okay.
Check rails are placed parallel to the track to prevent engines from being derailed. Years ago, these weren't to bother for the other railway, and they allowed Murdock and his siblings to use their rails under special permission. But as time passed by, the check rails had been lowered, and with the other railway being busier and busier, and with so many trains coming and going, there simply could not be any derailments. And so, they restricted Murdock and his siblings due to their flangeless middle driving wheel, causing a potential derailment over the lower check rails. Because of this, Murdock pulls his goods trains as far as Vicarstown, and another engine takes over the train from there in more modern wagons. At first, it worked quite well, but with the railway on the mainland becoming ever so busy...
I don't know why those trains remind me of the trains when I bus down to IKEA. When I bus down to work, on the route is a train station, and just looking at these trains, they remind me of the trains I see at the train station. So yeah, we actually still have a train station for passengers here in Winnipeg. So I didn't know this until when I was dating my ex-boyfriend. He showed me the train station because he knew I love trains. So yeah, no, this just reminds me of that train, so I don't know why. I just had to bring that up.
It became more time-consuming for the diesels.
I miss steam engines, though. Those were the good trains. Once upon a time. What the heck is this? Oh! Look at that! Oh! That is cool! That is cool! I'm sorry, that is just plain cool! Oh! Shiny time station! Okay, I'm dying right now. I think this show's been around for many years. Oh, here we go. Oh, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Good movie. 60 years. I can't believe this show's been around for so long. Making so many people happy. Yes! That's my favorite. That CGI one's my favorite. Especially how they did Emily. I love how they did her. Her and Edward. I'm dying. I am dying. Ooh, that one was my favorite movie. How did they do this? Okay, that one I didn't like. The baby one I didn't like. Up to the CGI one with the Royal Engine is the one I like. 80 years? Wow. Okay, I knew Thomas and Friends had been around for a long time, but I didn't think they were around for 80 years. Wow, that's impressive.
One day, a diesel from the main...
Quick question, guys. How did they do that with the phones? I'm sorry, that's driving me nuts. How did they do that with the phones? Because, yeah, I learned video editing in my communication and broadcasting course, but I'd like to know how they had a picture of someone holding a phone and had the video playing. Can someone tell me how they did that? Because that is a cool trick.
Man arrived with the Fat Controller on board. It idled alongside Murdock at the coal stage. The Fat Controller stepped down from the cab and looked towards Murdock. "Hello, Sir Tobermat, sir," Murdock greeted. Is there something you want to tell me? Indeed. The various freight companies who take our goods on the mainland have been saying that transferring the goods from our trains to theirs has been time-consuming. And so, to make this easier for us and them, I have decided to let the diesels from the mainland take the goods from here. If you don't mind me saying, sir, replied Murdock, but this is a load of codswallop. There wasn't any problem at all to begin with, so why fix what's not broken? The railway line back in England is getting more hectic these days, Murdock. You should understand that, replied the diesel.
Oh, geez. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. My bad. I didn't think I was going to do that. So let's continue.
Codswallop, Murdock snapped, and he puffed away.
Come on, you can be nice.
Don't worry. I think he's trying to reel in the news. Later that
Well, and everybody takes news differently. Like, everybody, and I know for someone who doesn't do well with change, I mean, thanks to COVID-19, I learned change is inevitable. There's nothing we can do to stop it. But for a lot of us, change is hard. It can be very hard, and it takes us time to adapt. And I remember when I was younger, change for me was just so difficult. It was so hard. And I couldn't cope. I couldn't cope. But in time, as we learn that change is not a bad thing. So if you're going through a change in your life, guys, never think it's a bad thing. It may be difficult sometimes. It may be something we not want to hear. But change is good. Change is good in many different ways. So let's continue.
At night, Murdock spoke to the other engines about the news. It's just not right at all. Everything was fine before. I should prove it to the Fat Controller, he huffed. The other engines were sympathetic, but Gordon, while understanding Murdock's fury, could understand why the Fat Controller would do such a thing.
Of course,
You
yeah.
should be careful when proving Murdock, he warned. I once tried that with the Express. And he told them about his dilemma with Pip and Emma.
What did you do?
Codswallop, that would happen to me. He spoke to the Fat Controller and the
Wait. What happened when you took the Express? I don't remember. Can someone remind me? Like, what's Gordon talking about? Like, is there something I'm missing here?
freight managers the next day, and after discussing things backwards and forwards, they simply agreed.
Oh, no.
Murdock was pleased, but the Fat Controller and the managers hoped that the time-consuming measures would get to him. The Diesel, however, rolled his eyes. Murdock pulled into the yards in the museum in Town and started work on the transfer.
Freightliners!
After that, the Diesel then rolled away with a huff.
I'm a climate hero.
Must be
I
on
like
time, he said, as he left the yards.
So what's gonna
One
happen?
Diesel at the back of the train heading back to the mainland would work fine, as they would stop after exiting the yard, and the one at the back.
Okay, I like how with some of these cars, they have a bit of graffiti, because I noticed when we come to a train cross, we see cars with graffiti on it, and it's like, it's good to know they added that in there, because, and I don't know why they do that, but it's like, why do they do that? Could someone explain to me why people graffiti train cars? Like, what's the point? Seriously.
But if there was one, it would be more time-consuming, and that is one of the things Murdock hadn't realized, as the Diesel would have to find a passing route further into Sodor so they can make their return journey home. Eventually, it found a loop. This wouldn't go down well for the bosses at home, it huffed. Just then Murdock puffed by, feeling very happy with himself. If it's not broken, why fix it? He smiled. The Diesel just rolled its eyes. It would later be proven correct, as the bosses were still in favor of the Fat Controller's idea. Codswallop, sir, codswallop, he argued. Murdock, I am sorry, but the various freight companies still don't like the old idea, and we must move forward with the new. But why don't I take the trains to the mainland, sir? He asked. That is simply out of the question, and you know you can't do that, Murdock, replied the Fat Controller crossly. You know full well that your flanchless wheel might derail you when you go over the low check rails. I'm sorry, Murdock, but it is what it is, and I do hope we will find you other work. Good day. And the Fat Controller walked away to his office. Why worry about something that hasn't happened yet? I'll show the Fat Controller that there's nothing to worry about. The next day, he popped away from the harbor.
Says every kid who argues with their parent. I'm sorry, be honest. How many of us have had our parents tell us not to do something, and yet we do it anyway because we think we know better? And then it turns out that they were right and we were in the wrong. I'm telling you, Murdock is gonna go through that.
Train bound from the mainland.
Take the dogs out.
He told his crew about the change, and with that, they believed him. They radioed the signalman at Vickerstown about the change, and he let them through. This would surely prove to the Fat Controller, Murdock thought excitedly. They rolled through Vickerstown, puffed over the bridge, and glided into the mainland.
Just watch.
As Murdock crossed over the points,
New Pampers
Oh,
Scrubbers
shoot.
360.
All right, here we go. Told you! Should have listened.
the Fat Controller's warning proved correct, and Murdock now knew that the writing was on the wall. Rescue soon came, but the Fat Controller was very cross and said to
Of
him
course.
sternly, "I will torture you later." Poor Murdock sat in the shed of the works feeling very silly with himself. The Fat Controller came and spoke to him crossly about what he had done and the damage that he had caused.
Yeah.
"I'm very sorry, sir," he said sadly with tears forming in his eyes. "I only did it because with the news of this big change, pulling trucks is what I'm only good at. I know I mix traffic, but I rarely pull passengers, and there are plenty of engines who can do that work. I just don't know what to do with my life without pulling trucks." I can see that you are very sorry, Murdock, and I understand your feelings. I was thinking of a punishment for you, but I think your action made you realize how silly it is to ignore my warning. However, I will think of a new job for you. A few
Janice,
Hang on,
Mona,
guys.
Christy.
Sorry, guys, about all these interruptions. This is not how I planned it today.
days later, Murdock was prepared and he made his way back home to Tidman. However, the Fat Controller had not thought of a new job for him just yet. Meanwhile, at Wellsworth, Edward was banking a heavy goods train up the hill.
Is that Edward? Edward? Yeah, Edward, my boy!
He let out a huge sigh of relief as the train glided down. He was feeling very tired and worn out as he got back to the yards.
Oh, no, Edward.
Sadly, it was full of trucks that were in need to be shunted, and Diesel was left to do that on his own, causing delays.
Oh, no.
"Those banking duties aren't doing you any good, Edward," he said
No,
sympathetically.
he's an
"You are not
idiot.
as young as you once were, and I can't do banking duties and shunting at the same time. We need another engine to balance the workload." "I agree with you, Diesel," replied Edward, who was still trying to catch his breath. "But the Fat Controller can't spare an engine at the moment." Later on, the Diesel arrived with its freight train. It was very long and heavy, unlike the previous train, and it needed assistance up on the hill.
Oh, no.
Poor Edward was still tired, and he could see just how heavy the modern freight wagons looked. "Hang on," he wheezed.
Edward, can't keep doing
"I'm
this!
coming." "No, Edward," sighed Diesel. "I'll do it. You need your rest." And before he made his way towards the train, they heard a whistle. Then Diesel had an idea. He called out to the signalman. The signalman heard the message and placed the signal at danger. Murdock saw this and pulled up. "Hey up," he said. "What's going on? Why have we stopped?" Then the signalman told Murdock about Diesel and his plan by pushing the Diesel's train up the hill, and explained about Edward. "Well, why not?" he smiled. "Anything to help out Edward."
Aw.
So he left his brake van in a siding and then buffered up to the train.
Anything to help an engine in need.
Then he puffed away, pushing with all his might. The train
Why is he
moved
pushing
and
it backwards?
glided up the hill with ease, with Murdock not having a single puff.
He's going backwards.
Thank you, honked the diesel as it rolled away to the mainland.
Why is he doing it backwards? Sorry, but I'm asking. Why is he backwards?
Think nothing of it, Murdock whistled, and he steamed away down the hill.
I'll never understand it.
Edward and Diesel were pleased with him. The two engines had heard that Murdock would no longer pull goods trains again, but then they had an idea. Maybe you should be our permanent banker, Murdock, replied Edward
Good job
happily.
for him.
You've managed to get that Diesel's train up there with ease. I'll have all the energy to spare when looking after my branch line and the yards with Diesel. Not to mention you can help out on the branch line with the goods work, added Diesel. The branch line has become a lot stronger for engines like you. So what do you say? I'll think about it. And he puffed away.
Oh, come on, Murdock!
He pulled into the shed at Tidman,
Come on!
still pondering. Meanwhile, Percy, who brought fish from the harbour in Kirk Ronan, and Gordon were there too. Murdock told them about Edward and Diesel's offer. You know, I was in a situation like that when Stanley was looking after all of the goods on Tom's branch line. If you don't tell the fat controller about it, you may come to regret it when he puts you on a job you don't like. Quite right, agreed Gordon. The job sounds like something you could do since you pushed that Diesel's train up the hill. You should tell him. Show me what, replied a familiar voice, and then Murdock explained. As spring sprung, the Diesel had returned to Sodor pulling another goods train. It was still long
did
and
he
heavy,
take it?
and it needed a push up the hill. It then felt a bump, and off they went.
It was Murdock, wasn't it? It was Murdock! Come on, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't tell
It came
me.
to the top of the hill, and the Diesel glided down. Thank you, it honked.
You can't tell me. You can't do that. You can't do that.
You're welcome.
Hey! I knew it'd be Murdock.
Murdock now works at Wellsworth and banks trains up the hill, while also helping around on the branch line with Edward and the others.
I like that. That was awesome. I love that. That was really awesome. Don't know who that guy is in the picture. If someone could let me know, that'd be great. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. This is Caber101 signing out. Adios, everybody, and have a happy Valentine's Day from the Scott family.